All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. It's good to be heard. It's good to be known. I just came in here for a minute to say that it's nice. Today, gaming won. As much as you want to say, gaming has won. But I wanted to take a sentiment right now to talk about why gaming won. Why today gaming won? Well, today of all days, Microsoft has finally reintroduced the Xbox One. Today, we have a console war. Whatever came before it, whatever that whole draconian bullshit that we were before, ignore it. Ignore it. That was just theater. Ignore it. That's something that, that always online DRM is a sick joke now. It's a sick joke. Now we got ourselves a console war. And you can say, if you're an Xbox person that sits there and says, hey, I'm happy that, the Xbox is a thing now. I'm happy that I can buy it. Now I don't have to go through this draconian 24-hour disc checks and all that stuff. I'm with you. We won. The gamers won today. And now I'm hearing sentiment from these stupid motherfuckers. Well, like, you gaming. I was really excited for that family share thing. I really was excited. We won. This is what we wanted. We have won. Take that. Know it. Feel it. This is for the better. I hope you know that. This is not for the worse. This is for the better. But even this is for the better. We should always keep an eye out on Microsoft and Sony. I'm still keeping a PS4 pre-order. I still think Sony's the better deal. The only reason why I'm buying a PS4 comes down to price. Price is very important to me. And the xbone, still at $600. It's still at $500. $560 with Xbox Live, because I have to get Xbox Live with it, because I don't have I don't have an active Xbox Live account anymore. It's still very expensive to choke down and to understand. And for anyone that can sit here and say that they wanted that online draconian bullshit, that's up to you. But I didn't want that. You didn't want that. I was just thinking about you, mate. Hello, mate. Just a quick little thing. Hello. We were talking about how Xbox One has reverse course. Sorry, I'm a little delayed. I'm a little tiny bit delayed, so if you hear me, this was very, very quick, so it looks a little different and all that stuff, so this will go up in the podcast feed. I want to tell you. So here's my thoughts. Why? Why did we win? Why did gaming win? Why today? I think it was the pre-orders. I think it was game. Remember when I said on the show, I said, Microsoft's going to fold. I don't know if I said that, but I knew they were going to fold. I just didn't know they were going to fold so quick. I thought it was going to be in November. I thought they were going to keep this sentiment all the way to launch. I really did. I thought they're going to keep this all the way to launch, and then probably by E3 of next year, probably roll it all back. I knew they were going to roll it all back because, trust me, the gamers don't forget. The gamers will keep pouring it on. And for me, you guys should be excited for two things. We have a console race. We got a console war now. Where'd that come from? We have a console war now. Get excited. No longer are we supposed to go like DRM or DRM free. That debate is over. And now we can focus on the games. And I will be the one to sit here and say, what Microsoft did was so dumb. And all the comments about, even, Don Matrix said some dumb shit still saying some dumb shit. He said, you should be happy. You should be happy. We gave you, we should have offered more. We should have made the price even more. Yeah. Oh, the damn backpedal. Like I said, I'll do a show. They backpedaled. they backpedaled hard. Yeah, backtrack the damage. That's what people are saying. Has the damage already been done? As of this writing, I will say, yeah, the damage is done. But can the damage be repaired? Yes. Believe it or not, the damage can be repaired. But is the damage done with me? Yes, the damage is, but it's not it's what they said about the console wars. It's what they're saying about us, saying about the gamers. I don't feel they care about the gamers at the moment. I really don't. I really don't feel that love, that Microsoft love. And people can sit here and say like, oh, Raven, I said Cliffy B was wrong. Cliffy B's wrong. Total Biscuit, you were wrong. You're wrong. As much as you can sit here and look, as much as I hate GameStop, as much as I hate used games and all that stuff, and I think you shouldn't trade in your games and all that stuff, GameStop is the only place we can buy our games. It is you bow down to GameStop. And if I bet it was GameStop and all those retailers and all those partners that they were doing, that I bet I think EA, Ubisoft said, this is not worth it. This is not worth our time. And I think it was more about the pre-orders than anything. Because remember, they don't exist without us, the gamer. They don't exist if we don't buy the console. And I know right now people are bitching about the share thing. Look, guess what? The share thing's dumb. That was dumb. Maybe they could put on the share thing and just said as an act of kindness. To me, reversing this course, yeah, that's a step in the right direction. But now I'm like, okay, they really need to bring this home now. Like now they beat around the bush. Still something stinks. And it ain't because they said how they did this 180 out of nowhere and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And it's just, it reeks of crap how they come out and they said, do I think Microsoft did the right thing of coming out with and saying their policy like this? Yeah, they did a great thing. I commemorate them for making that decision. Making that decision that we can have a console war again. Making that decision that we can have a show again and not be lopsided with one side. Or, three sides. Whatever, And this what brings me to my last point of the night. I was going to go to the pool and I didn't. But I want to bring this last point about the PS4. Why I'm sticking with the PS4. The PS4 didn't lie to you. As much as you want to go back to the loving arms of Microsoft, and I will not judge you any iota if you do. I will actually have more respect for you if you are a happy come lately, if you got, like I said, Microsoft was going to do this. It was the question of when. And they saw the pre-order numbers. You think they didn't see the pre-order numbers? They care a lot about that pre-order line. They care about that. They care about that deeply. You think they don't? They care about it. Because GameStop was underselling the Xbox One. So right now they're at a disadvantage, and also the yields and all that stuff is bad. They're lower. The yields of the Xbox right now, and they need to get that thing out. I don't think the Xbox 360, the Xbox One will be out in quantities that we want it. Now, what are we getting excited for? Like for me, why am I getting excited for a PS4? Why was I getting more excited for a PS4? It's how Sony said it. It's people are like, oh, you're selling a story and all that stuff. It's how Sony set up the whole thing. It's how the games are going to be, how, the price and everything else. I was sold when the minute I heard about the whole thing about Mark Cerny and all those people coming on stage and doing that stuff. It was a great day to be a gamer. It was a great day. It was a great day. I never felt joy like that. And now people are like, well, I'm going to, people are like, ooh, we're going to switch and go with Microsoft now, and we're going to give us our money. Don't be a fanboy. I know that I can sit here and say, don't be a fanboy. Don't be a fanboy. Microsoft is not the same Microsoft we all know and love back in the 360 days. They're not the same M dollar that we can go and say proudly. Microsoft is chasing a dollar. They're chasing your money. I'm not saying don't buy the Xbox One. I know I will buy an Xbox One. I will now. But not now. Soon. Not now. Soon. And plus, I will hold off to say that I said that I was only buying one console this generation. One console this year. One. And that's a PS4. That's the horse I strapped myself to. And even if Microsoft reversed their decision or any of that stuff, that was my decision. It wasn't a decision of fanboying. They had a better product. If I believed that Microsoft had a better product and I needed to spend $160 more, I would. Definitely. Even with the draconian DRM and all that stuff. Because they have a better box and a better product. In my opinion, as I look at now that they reversed policies, the PS4 still has a better policy. Just because Microsoft stepped in it. Can Microsoft undamage the damage? Yes. We will forgive Microsoft. I will forgive Microsoft. But they're on probation with me. Definitely on probation. Nothing. And now that brings us to a point about the Xbox One. Should you, the listener of Tech and Games, if you're a fanboy or not, should you buy an Xbox One? Of course. That is not a question of no. It's a question of yes. I buy consoles because I know that there's games that are coming out for it. Me personally, I buy consoles for games. I don't buy consoles for killer apps because I know they'll come. I buy consoles where they lie. So for anyone out there that goes like, you hated the Xbox One. I hated all that draconian stuff that they're not doing anymore. But that brings me to a point. Why did you think Microsoft? I'm sitting here and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, now you made the right decision. Why did you think this was a great decision to take yourself out of the console race like that? Who said, yeah, that's great. All right, this DRM stuff and all this stuff. Yeah, we're going to do this. I really think, and this is just me, I think it was not just Don Matrick. I think it was everyone in this whole thing, right? To a later time, right? I mean, look, if I was going to ask anything how these series of events happen, and they are a series of events, trust me, they are a series of events. I think all these events led up to the Xbox One and all that stuff, and it is a series of events. I think it was E3. I think that a lot of stuff that Microsoft was doing, they thought their shit didn't stink. Like, Microsoft came in there and they went like, we got this by the ass. Like, they thought the 360 was so popular and they thought they won this generation. They didn't. They barely won this generation. Barely. They didn't win it by a landslide. They didn't, depending who you ask. Did Microsoft win it? Depending who you ask. But if in my book, the facts, the cold hard facts is Nintendo won this generation. Won it. Hands down. Hands down. Then if you want to debate and say Microsoft won the generation, and then they say Sony's third. This time, Sony's bringing the game. They're lower now. They're at 400. Microsoft's at 500. So I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, is the Xbox One still worth $500? I said during the Microsoft press conference, I said $500 is a lot of money to swallow. It's a lot. We're talking a lot of money to plunger down. It's a lot of money to just go this to that kind of stuff. And I don't even have Xbox Live. Yeah, that stuff. Then it is $500. It's a lot cheaper and all that stuff. But if you buy one game, it's $560. So you're looking at a lot of money here. Instead of just buying one game for the PS3 or the PS4, it's $460. And if you get you're looking at $480 for the PS4 if you buy the lowest tier of PlayStation Plus. But you're looking at something way cheaper. You are looking at something cheaper. But I think they came into E3 thinking like, we're going to, people are going to buy this. We got the games, we got Titanfall and all that stuff. Microsoft's thinking wrong with the Xbox One. With the xbone, they're thinking wrong. They don't want to compete anymore. Right now, they want to compete because they know they have to. They have to compete with Sony. Sony did us a favor, and everyone needs to realize that. If you're a PlayStation fan, an Xbox fan, a Nintendo fan, Sony went to bat for us. Sony came up and said, no. This is not how we're going to run our system. This is not how we're going to do our thing. And it embarrassed Microsoft so bad that they had to make a total 180 now. They had to do a total 180. I mean, a total reversal of the facts and say that that's not true. Don Matrick had to get off his high horse and say that's not true. Would the Xbox One sell out during the holidays? You bet. With that kind of draconian. But it wouldn't have any legs to go on. And I'm just saying, if it wasn't for Sony, we wouldn't be in this situation. If it wasn't for Microsoft, we wouldn't be in this situation either. They could have just nipped this crap in the bud. They could have just, I know this has been a rumor for a while, right? There's been a rumor forever, and I think they brushed it off and went like, whatever, we're going to do what I want. Adam Orth got fired over this. So dumb. Why kill something that worked for 30 years? Why do something so dumb that people go, yeah, it showed how stupid Microsoft was and how stupid we were. With stupid comments from people like, from Total Biscuit to Cliffy B saying used games and AAA games couldn't exist. Well, used games and AAA games can exist. And they will exist. And they'll keep on existing. Used games are not going to kill this console generation. That's just not what's going to happen. Keeping the games high will. You want that money, Microsoft? You're going to make it digital. And everyone knows it. People are like, well, you tried to force everyone into a world we were not ready for. We wasn't ready for the world you thought of. And believe it or not, your device was the only device that needed to phone home. Now it doesn't. Now it only needs to phone home the first time you get it. So for anyone out there that doesn't, it still has no internet and all that stuff, they have to phone home or build. I don't understand. It's a couple months away. How come they can't just built into that stuff into the system now? How come it has to phone home now and get that update that strips everything out? So that's a little weird. And also, Major Nelson and all those people were like, well, what about the announcement of Sony? Does that mean you're going to change your mind? Of course it meant. So does that mean everything that Microsoft's been saying is bullshit? Yes. Is there any trust with them that they're going to do something and they did? No, there is no trust. I'll tell you, I don't trust them. Not yet. I'll give them about to May of next year. Maybe they can come up with something wonderful and convince people to buy their box. But they did a horrible job telling people why you should buy an Xbox One. And for people out there, the Xbox, the people who are going to buy an Xbox One, respect the people who are going to buy your Xbox, your console. Because you won't be anywhere if it wasn't for us. And you still haven't showed me that respect yet. Your box is great, your box is good, but if you're not going to treat me like how I should be treated, I'm not going to buy your box. Not yet. I will buy your box. Because I can't live without that kind of stuff, but you're on the wrong track. But today, you had your come to Jesus moment, which was faster than I thought it was, and I knew you were going to have that moment. Everyone else went and I even said it to the GameStop guy. I even said it, they're going, he said, you don't mess with GameStop. When do you, I said, Microsoft will turn around. They will, you don't mess with GameStop, they will turn around. And boy, did they. Feels good. Feels good. We don't have to worry about that future of online. We don't have to worry about our games and all that stuff. It's good. Ooh, Blackhawks are up. Yay. So, there it is. There's my little 2 cents on the whole Xbox One thing. I'm still buying a PlayStation 4. That's the console I picked this year. This year. Not this generation. This year. I always try to buy one of these things. And I still feel very good about the PlayStation 4. Am I happy that xbone changed course? Yes. Yes, I do. But they need, I think the PlayStation 4 is still a way better console. Not because of power, not because of what it represents, how it represents itself. You're supposed to market the thing. You're supposed to they respect the gamer. They respect what I do. And people can sit here and say, but Sony's been so arrogant with the PS3 and all that stuff. They had their come to Jesus moment, and it was the PS4. Microsoft had sort of their come to Jesus moment with the xbone. Now they came to fight. And boy, I can't, for me, I'm like, it made me mad to see that they didn't want to fight. That they thought that they won this and said, we're not going to fight. We're not going to show up to fight. It's like some rich dude going I don't need to show up to fight. No, you need to show up to fight. You know what the fight is. You took yourself out of the fight. Now you took yourself back into the fight. Thanks for taking yourself into the fight. Thanks for bringing yourself back into it. Thank you for being back into the fight. But you're on probation with me. The fight is with us, the gamer. You have to still convince us that you care about us. You care about what we do as our hobby and all that stuff. I understand that you're trying to go after this TV sports market and all that stuff. But at $500, it's still a lot of money to choke down. For me, for you, and for everyone. I will always say, try to think about these purchases and think about everything else. Microsoft saw that the pre-order numbers were low, and they did what they had to do. Going forward, this is good, but we still have to keep pouring it on. With Sony and Microsoft, and probably Nintendo, that these practices will not sit with us. We will not take this. We will not be common criminals trying to buy video games. We're not trying to hack your system. We're not trying to make gaming worse. We are not your enemy. We are your consumers. And we care about the games because we sit at the press conferences. We talk about them. We are your base. And the more you treat us like you have us locked up and think that people only care about your brand name, just ask Nintendo, just ask Sony, ask Sega, you will follow the same path. And boy, did you follow the same path as those two. And the console wasn't even launched yet. The console wasn't even done. We were playing with theory money. No console has left or been sold. We've been playing with theory. Pre-orders are only theory. And boy, that theory really took sediment. And I know a lot of people said, hey, I'm not going to forgive Microsoft. I'm going to forgive Microsoft, but I'm not going to forget. You are not coming into my house this year. That is your punishment from me. But you will be back in this house, in my house, in good graces, because you earned it. But you still have to show me why that decision was good. Until then, I will not support your practices. Even they're right. Even your practices are right. You did the right thing. But I cannot take you seriously at the moment. I'm happy. This is not against your DRM policy that you had before or now. I was going to buy your system, and I'm still going to buy your system. But you need to prove to yourself that you get it. And you don't look like you get it yet. And boy, I have to face it to the old dog that is Sony. Good job, Sony. Good job. You saved us. You saved gaming for all of us. And for me, I never thought I would say this. Thank you, Sony. Thank you for saving us from a horrible Microsoft future that I hated. I hate it personally. And I know a lot of people out there like that. Some people like that future of the game sharing and you had to do this and that. That's fine. You can like that. But it was wrong. We were buying into something that was so stupid that didn't have to happen. A future that shouldn't have been. A very scary future because Microsoft thinks they're Apple. You're not Apple, Microsoft. You're Microsoft. This is why people don't like you. Because you do stupid shit. And don't do that stupid shit, and then people will like you. Do people going to buy your box now? Yes. How many more people? Who knows? So everyone should do a lap around and hold their hands up high. Sony fans, Microsoft fans, Nintendo fans. Today, gaming won for all of us. And we better keep an eye on it. They do that stuff again. That was real scary. We almost lost gaming there. We were real close. We were real close to losing gaming. I can tell you. But now that the damage, now we can start the healing. The damage is done. Now we can start the healing. Now we can start talking about video games again. We can talk about the consoles. We can talk about video games again. And that is what we came for, is to talk about games. And speaking of talking about games, it's time to play one. It's time to play a real old one. The one that don't really require some DRM and some check-ins. So, before we get to that game, we play. So for anyone that doesn't know, we're now into the LP stuff and Nintendo. Yeah, and it's a win for everyone. It's a win for everyone. Definitely. I mean, it's a win. It's a win because it's really good for us. As for consumers, we got choice again. We don't have to take this bullshit. It's a win for all of us. And for people who go like, well, I don't like to trade in my games at GameStop. You don't have to. No one's forcing you to get an Xbox One. No one's forcing you to get a PS4. The reason why GameStop was trying to give the PS4 because it was good for the bottom line. And after that kind of stuff, I mean, the xbone send ripple effects through the freaking through it all. Anyone else can sit here, oh, it wasn't that bad. Oh, you just exaggerated. The gaming industry will be fine. The gaming industry did fine, but we as consumers didn't like it. We didn't. I mean, yes, people can sit here and like, oh, the iPhone's a closed service, so you don't need to have that. But guess what? I don't need to have an iPod connected to the internet at all to get an app. I don't need to get crap, you know? I don't need to have the iPod connected. I could connect it to my computer and download the apps that way. I don't need it to be online. This ties this, and plus, the apps on the Apple Store and all that stuff are cheap. They're like $1. We're talking $60 games here, Microsoft. We're not talking about, you know, and that's the thing, right? We're talking $60 games. Sony did the right thing, and they know it. Sony, you think Sony sat there and went like, oh, Microsoft's still going to go through that? They did that because they knew it was right. They knew it was right. You think they didn't know that was right? They knew that whole DRM thing, you know, that whole that hashtag no PS4 DRM, that worked. It fucking worked. Because they knew that their customers didn't need to sell boxes. They needed to sell those boxes. Microsoft was ready to take that hit on the boxes for everyone else going like, oh, we need to take a hit on the boxes. We need to do this. We need to do that. They thought they were on cloud nine. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted. And, you know, people are like, oh, smart people are at Microsoft. How smart was you? How smart? Are you that smart that you had to, you know, you didn't think about it. You can say like all this focus testing and all that stuff. You reverse course so fast. I think people forgot their underwear. That's how fast you reverse course. You're forgiven. But I will not forget the hero that went to bat for us and kept gaming the way it was. And that's Sony. And I hope no one does forget that. Other people can say it's a win or any of that stuff, but who really went for it? Who went to bat for gaming? Sony. Remember that. Remember that when you go in to buy your Xbox One, your xbone. Remember who saved gaming from a terrible future. Sony. Now, you can say like, oh, Microsoft pushed gaming forward. Of course it did. Xbox Live was great. Pushed gaming forward. But remember who saved it. If it wasn't for Microsoft pushing it forward, if it wasn't for Nintendo creating good games, but really who saved the day was Sony. And that is sentiment. And that is fact. And that is true. Alright. That is my little thing on the xbone. We got a console war on our hands. Get excited. I'm excited. Let's do this. So that's my 2 cents. Maybe it makes sense to you, maybe it doesn't. But we got some games to play. We got Frontier Saga that we're playing this month. Weird game. Very weird game. Definitely, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing in it, but it's kind of fun. We have finished Final Fantasy Tactics. I know, shocking. We finished that game. I know that seemed like a game forever, but we finished it. We finished it, and it is a blessing to be done with that game. I would love to play more of that kind of stuff, but we got a game to play. So, vamios. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for Frontier Saga on this channel too. So we got a lot of LPs on the channel. On this, we gotta actually tie all this stuff, the LPs and all that stuff, to the site soon. We have to tie it to the site and all that stuff because we've been doing a lot of work. I'm glad people like the E3 shows that we've been doing in video. And for the time being, we're pretty much going to keep doing them in video, the shows in video. Not sure that we're going to keep doing that, but I'm going to keep trying to see what people like in video. You can still listen to the show on Stitcher, even they are in video, so that's good too. So I can't sit here and go like, oh, if they're only in video. My worry was if it was on Stitcher, it was audio, and that would be a problem. No, it's not a problem. It worked out, and I'm like, okay, they're going up on vids. They're going up on vids. That's going to work out, and then we can have our little powwows and our little chit-chats and all that stuff. So for anyone out there, so you can still listen to the show. regularly on Stitcher. If you only want audio, if you want video, it's podcast. So we're going to try the video podcast. It sounded like people liked them, and I enjoy doing them. They're really easy to do, so that's why I'm bringing this little tidbit to you. So I better shut up because we got a game to play. So let's go do this. I'll be back in 2 and 2.